So we'll get to our first topic, and I want to take a few minutes and take a moment of silence for Greg Gumbel,
Yeah.
sportscaster, NBC News for the most part. 2 generations ago, decades ago, Greg
Yeah.
Gumbel was a
Was
true
a pioneer.
trailblazer.
Yeah.
And I want to just take a moment of silence to pay homage to Greg Gumbel. To talk a little bit about Greg Gumbel's life, Greg Gumbel set a precedent, him and his brother Bryant, and Greg was a sportscaster and a sports journalist, a true sports journalist who pioneered of his time as an African American coming along of pretty much covering all major sports in this country. When I was a child in the 1970s, in the 80s, as a teenager, I watched Greg Gumbel. I grew up kind of watching Greg Gumbel cover NFL football, college football, NBA basketball,
Yep.
college basketball, the Olympics. He covered several major Olympic events around the globe. And he was Mr. NBC himself in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, where he set the precedent. He was a total gentleman. The guy had class.
Yes.
He just was a very, very
Never
good
heard of
person.
scandal. None
He
of
had
that
no
stuff.
scandals whatsoever.
Yes.
And he always had a smile on his face every time he did a segment of any sport, whether it was one of those journalistic endeavors where he had to interview a scandal, or he had to do an interview with a coach or a player, teams of that sort. He always did it with class. And that's one thing I could appreciate about Greg Gumbel as an individual, as a person, the humanity side of him. He died at 78 years old after a battle with cancer. So he's going to be sorely missed. His brother Bryant is still alive. And Bryant was an NBC Today Show host for over 11 years
Yeah.
as well. And he was just as popular as Greg. And I have to
Okay.
say, both of the Gumbel brothers, class personified. So if
Yeah.
you want to talk a little bit
Amazing.
about